My name's Erin, and I've worked in City Hall for almost 10 years. I think it's worth saying that City Hall in Washington Square has been there for well over 125 years, and it's really the front yard of the state of Utah. It's where people come together to protest, to mourn, to celebrate, to come to festivals, to walk their dogs every day. It's our front yard, and it's a really important building that was almost lost. After years of not enough upkeep or major improvements, the city council was given the decision to tear it down and build some smaller scale buildings across the block, or to invest $35 million in renovating the whole building. And it passed by only one vote to save the building with a 4-3 split vote. I'm so glad they saved the building. One of my favorite stories, I don't know if it's true, but it's part of the folklore of the building, is that when the city council decided to put taxes into play in a bigger way, raising property taxes, that the people rioted at the doors of City Hall. They locked the doors, and the people were becoming so aggressive to get into the building that the city decided to turn the fire hoses, send the fire department out and turn the fire hoses onto the people to get them away from the building. But the people overtook the firefighters, took the hoses, which were still active, broke through the windows at the front doors, and flooded the main floor, which is sort of a basement in City Hall, with a fire water. Not too long ago, a guy with a duffel bag and a box of pizza walked into the front of City Hall and said, "I'm an architecture student from the University of Utah, and I'd like to do some measurements of the tower. I'm studying it, and could I get the keys to go up there?" And he looked trustworthy enough, apparently, that they handed him the keys, and he was never seen again. But when the employees left City Hall that evening, there was a giant Halloween kind of pumpkin skewered onto the sword of Lady Columbia at the top of the tower. I don't think they ever found out who it was, but just to imagine how he would have had to climb up and over the cupola to get up there at the top, stick that pumpkin on there, and then get safely back down is pretty amazing. They left the pumpkin up there until it rotted and fell down many months later.
My name is Lisa Shaffer, and I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for Salt Lake City Corporation. I've worked for the city for 17, almost 18 years, and so in this building all the time, and various offices, different floors. But one of the coolest stories was I was working late one night. This was on the second floor on the west side of the building and the northwest quadrant, right, of the building. So in every quadrant of the building, there are round windows, right? There's kind of a turret kind of window, and the wood is curved and the glass is curved, and it's very, very beautiful. And those spaces inside of the building are typically used for like gathering spaces, conference room, break room areas, those types of things. And that was the case on the second floor in the northwest quadrant when I was working there. It was late at night. It was not late, but it was after 7. So no customers were in the building. There were no constituents in asking any questions. I was just staying late doing some work. The windows in those turreted areas are notoriously difficult to open because this is a really old building. The windows are made out of wood and they're curved. And so opening them, they often get jammed, right? And so like even to get a little bit of fresh air, it kind of takes a little effort to kind of get open this much, right? And so I was sitting there in that turreted area, 7-ish at night, and all of a sudden one of those windows that previously was really difficult to open just flew open, like 100% from closed all the way to all the way open, and like wind just came rushing in, papers went scattered everywhere, and I got chills all over my body. It freaked me out. And I was like, I gotta go home. The building itself is so cool. The tunnel connects this building to the plaza across the street to the east. And it now connects to the parking structure that's below there. But prior to the library being there, there used to be an old police station. It was the old public safety building, and it was built up on stilts, and it was kind of this very 70s looking building. It was common for prisoners that would be arrested and held in that facility to be walked underneath the tunnel, and then they would come up into this building to stand trial. So a lot of these buildings were used for, a lot of the rooms were used for as courtrooms. There are many gargoyles on the outside of the building that are carved into the stone. Many, many, many. I don't know how many, a lot. But there's only one on the inside of the building. The other thing that's really cool about this building is every floor in this building has a different tile pattern. So if you go from floor to floor to floor, you'll see these different tile patterns. But each of the tile patterns represents or is supposed to replicate a Native American pattern.